Hello everyone, welcome to another Toss episode! So, this time, I'm now gonna do it, my favorite Fire Emblem Blazing Blade characters. Now, I've been teasing this for quite a while now, but now I am gonna do it. Now, some little ground rules before I begin. Now, you know how my previous Fire Emblem videos, or Fire Emblem characters videos, is usually like a top 7 for, parent children, because there's no children characters in Blazing Blade? I'm just gonna bump it up to 10. Well, technically 11, you'll know why, but it's going to be a top 10, not a top 7. If I want to do a top 7, there are other characters I want to talk about, so it's going to be a lot more honorable mentions than not, so leave it there. Also, for like visual purposes, you know how supposedly all the characters have like portraits related to, their game and stuff, right? Well, quite a few of them don't really have other portraits, especially from Cypher. So, get ready for, like, a few slots being, like, not very visually appealing, so just get ready for that, okay? Heck, one of the particular don't even have a portrait, so that's how you know how unimportant that character kind of is. So, that's that. Alright then, so, let's just get this going. Fire Emblem Blazing Blade characters. Now, the only mention I'm going to mention here is Layla, mostly because I thought for sure she's going to join a party eventually. And unlike a certain other thief named Layla, actually gave a darn about her, like, for what little story she has. Even though I kind of don't care about Matthew that much, heck it's kind of funny I only started knowing who Matthew was from here, that don't care about him, and same thing here. I was like, huh. I thought she'll be playable here, but she's not. Alright, for number 10 proper, we have our unimportant character on this, list, Fargus. Even though he doesn't have a portrait, you would think that he's kind of not important, but he actually does have some importance. And by some importance, I mean quite a lot of importance, despite being kind of a minor character. In that, he's the guy who takes the main party into the Dread Isle, which a lot of the events, some of the major events happen, including the final battle. So, he does like all the transport stuff, between the mainland and the Dread Isle. Also, he has a pretty nice personality, kind of fun and pretty cool. And especially with another character in this list, you probably know who it is if you play this game, that he's quite cool. He's a cool character, and especially with that certain other character, which we're going to mention a bit later, that, even though he found this unit, but, he said, you know what, I'm gonna, take him in and, make him a pirate or whatever. So anyway, he's a pirate, and like pirates, they're cool. Well, some of them are not cool, but I find him a really jolly character. Too bad he's not playable. I would definitely use him if he was playable. If he was playable, I'd put him much higher in the list. And I will easily replace that one character that I saved up for this slide. Next up is Wrath. Yes, already Wrath. You were thinking, well, what was Wrath though? He's like a bow knight. He's awesome. Yes, I know he's awesome. But the thing is, I got a bunch of other characters that are more awesome than he is. So, on my playthrough of Blazing Blade, right? On Lin mode, he's a monster. Okay, he's a monster. He rocks. Okay. However, as I play through Eliwood mode, by the way, I never play Hector mode. This is probably that's why you see I started another Pegasus 99 in this list. Whatever. But with Wrath on Eliwood mode, he's kind of there. I mean, yeah, he's cool. I'm gonna make a support with Lin. Nice. But I only really have him there just to support with Lin, who, side note, is not on this list because I don't really care about Lin. As much as I use Lin as much as I can, I really don't care about her, and Lin's kind of weak. Especially when she promotes, I feel that Lin's kind of weak. And I don't really think about why people think she's waifu material. Probably because I'm not really attached to Lin as much as most older Fire Emblem fans. Also doesn't help that I've seen objectively better waifu material before Lin. Also my main waifu right here, who tops everyone else. But Lin is not on the list because, like, she did nothing. On the final battle, she did nothing. Wrath did more than her in terms of usability. But still, Wrath is... yeah, he's a pretty chill dude. Like, he just doesn't say much. He just does things because that's kind of like his upbringing. Cool. And his job class is kind of neat, even though I, for the most part, don't use Bow Knights and Fire Emblem. Cool. So, yeah, he's a really cool dude, okay? He's a cool dude. He works when he works, but he mostly doesn't. So, 8 on this list is the other character I was mentioning, Dart, the pirate. Now, again, when I use Dart, while he's not quality per se, unlike Xander, but whenever I do use it, I was like, yeah, I feel like using him. Even though I missed getting his ocean seal when I did, because I didn't know where it was on the desert. Because I knew it was in the desert, but I didn't pick it up because I thought it was just unavailable for some reason. And so I had to hack the game to get the seal so I could at least use him. And boy, long story short, I missed the member card because I thought that the thief that carries it drops it. But he doesn't. And Matthew's like way on the other side of the board, so I couldn't even get to him. And I thought he would run away, so that's a side note, but he's a really cool dude. I really do like him because like he's a pirate again. I like pirates when they're cool. Not much else backstory wise, but and I guess some people say that he's not that good, but hey, I find him pretty cool. They're a lot better than Bartray, but yeah, I do think Dart, design wise, he's pretty cool, and he's a berserker, which granted Hawkeye may be better in some respects, but hey, when I use Dart, I find it kind of cool. That's what he's cool. Next up, Lord Pent! And the main reason why he's on this list is because on the chapter you first see him, right? He makes it very, very clear that he is,
pure, unadulterated badass.
But dude, like, he shows up, he murders everything, even though you want to not murder everything, but he can't help himself from murdering everything. And from there, it's like, you know what, I'm going to use him for the rest of the game. So even, because, Nino does come a bit later and I don't never used her. Urk I never used. Who else mage did I use? I forget. Well, whatever, no other mages on this list. Well, 1, 2, but like standard mages, right? Like stage classes. Like I don't think I've used any others, but he is awesome. Like, and whenever I do use him, he murders things like quite effectively. I mean, yeah. Also, with his like sniper wife, that's awesome. Like they're both pretty cool. Like especially what I like is that there's this one chapter in which I think I don't remember if they're supposed to be separate from everyone else, but I think they were placed separate from everyone else just to get something from the shops there. I put they were there and they handled themselves against various waves of enemies by themselves without trouble. And I'm like, this guy is awesome. This guy's a murder machine, and I like him. He's like super amazing. So he's definitely worth using. I think I kept it for the final battle. He's like pretty awesome. Not much else more to say. He's like a really good unit. Next up, our main character, Eliwood. Now, I was going to not put him at all. I was probably going to be like Marth, which I never used them. Despite, you know, needing to be in every chapter. But I think it's because I never used Marth that Marth became so useless for the entirety of the game. So I have to force myself to make Eliwood decent. So, as a unit, I have to force myself to use Eliwood as many times as I can. So that he can at least, you know, survive. And I feel like it paid off pretty dang well. So even before he promotes, I think I find Eliwood pretty reliable. So, as a unit, I think Eliwood is reliable whenever I got to use him. But when he promotes, yeah, he's actually pretty dang good. So, especially that Durandal. Look at the sprite of Durandal is like huge, even compared to his own body. It's like, what the heck? It's like Cloudbuster Sword has nothing on him, sprite-wise. Like, even the official artwork, like, the Durandal is like, how do you pick up that thing? But, anyway. But, as a character, though, I think, I'm starting to like Eliwood a lot more. Now the more I use Eliwood, the more I gave a darn about his story. And his story, I do like his story. It's like I can't really explain very well how good of a character he is. Even, like, separate from everyone else, separate from the other main characters, Eliwood has a nice personality. He's a nice guy. So, it makes you kind of want to root for him. Even though use him as much as other characters, I do respect Eliwood. So I don't know if I'll ever manage to play Roy's game, or if IS will decide to remake Roy's game, since they said they kind of would want to remake Roy's game, considering. Hey, maybe if I play Roy's game, maybe I might respect Eliwood just a little bit more. Just a little bit more. Because I know he's like not that important, and doesn't really do much. But, hey, I just look at his FE6 art, and he looks pretty awesome. Look at his purple! Dude, this guy rocks the purple, I'm just saying. So anyway, moving on to 5. Okay, 5, Ursula! And yes, Fire Emblem Heroes did influence this particular spot. Mostly because, like, Ursula ended up being among my most reliable units in Fire Emblem Heroes the entire time I got the game. So, with the entire this stupid mobile game, Ursula became one of my most, like, used characters. I think that's naturally the highest, like, SP of all the characters I have, and I don't even, like, have it fully built. But Ursula ended up being almost, my most loved character, so to say. But, the question is, how does that translate into Blazing Blade? Unfortunately, she's not playable, which sucks. I'll get to that. She's not playable at all, which kind of sucks. I kind of want to play as Ursula, even though, yes, I know she's a bad guy, but still. Personality-wise, like, she just wants to do her job. She just wants to do her job, and she doesn't really care about the semantics. She doesn't care about any, you know, things in the background. She just wants to, you know, impress Sonia. That's it, because Sonia is, like, the perfect master for her or something. Like, she cares a lot about perfection. She's a perfectionist. Which is kind of hilarious if you manage to play Fire Emblem Heroes and try to S-support Ursula with Tsubaki. That'd be hilarious. But, I'm actually considering doing that, but that kind of sucks. But, I'm just saying. And so, on the chapter where you fight her, right, which is the chapter you recruit Nino and Jafar, I thought to myself, how am I gonna do this, right? Should I do this or not? And I mentioned doing this, in which on the chapter after I beat Ursula, right, which is the guidance chapter, which Nina runs off and tries to talk to Sonia, but we end up beating up Sonia. So what I did is that I used a combination of the Nightmare hacking tool and Codebreaker codes to replace Bartray with Ursula. So I actually had, like, all of Ursula's stats. Some of them are already maxed. So I had all of Ursula's stats, all of Ursula's, like, magic things, and put her on top of Bartray. And it actually took me a few days to do that, like, the way I wanted it to. So, yes, I ended up having Ursula's playable character. I had her there, and actually beat Sonia with her, which is kind of hilarious. And actually used her for the rest of the game because he's that good. Mostly because the way her stats were when she was beaten was like had her max stats in quite a lot of things. So I ended up using Ursula because I really want to use Ursula. But now I got to use Ursula, so now everything is all worth it. It's kind of funny that on the end, we know while everyone what they've done is skipped Ursula. So I actually thought that was going to be like some sort of game-breaking side effect of what I did to get her. But no, nothing happened, so like, it's worth. But yeah, so I'm gonna say, like, Ursula's the closest thing to a waifu on this game, okay? I'm gonna leave it right there. She's the closest thing to a waifu in this game. No one in this game is really waifu material, like, per se, but Ursula the closest thing to one, so I'll just leave it at that. For the girl who gets things done, Rebecca. Now, she gets things done. I'll just leave it right there. She gets things done. Like, she's an archer, and pretty much my most reliable archer in the game. So whenever I use Rebecca, so you can say I can use quality, since Rebecca's actually I found her really good in my playthrough of Blazing Blade. She just does her things. It does well. I mean, granted, she does like die a lot, have to reset quite a lot, but at least like she's a pretty good character. That's all I'm gonna say. Also, I kind of like her design. Her design definitely like has some sort of like farm girl kind of design, which kind of basically have a bit of context of why she's an archer more than anything else. And plus, like, I don't know, it's just like her sweet personality. She's a nice girl. It's kind of funny that I had her one support with Raven, and I actually had like a nice screen cap of her saying like she doesn't really care what she sees on the inside, but she likes what she sees on the outside. I just find her kind of I don't know. I find her kind of a bit of a pervert. Maybe just me. Maybe some sort of you know those girls in the anime who just want to see guys nude or something, right? Not necessarily yaoi fangirl level, but kind of like that. I don't know. Just like have her out of that. I just thought, you know what? She would be the kind of character to be like that. Just saying. But yeah, she's like a nice like farmer village girl, and she gets things done. So that's why I like using her, and she's like one of the most quality users, most quality units of this game. Three. Here he comes, people. Here he is, people. Our monster, the man himself, the legend, Hector. This dude. Okay, so this dude is the unkillable beast of this game. Like, the thing is that there's no way you can't be the unkillable beast in this game. Yeah, I mean, he hadn't accidentally died like once or twice, but like, other than that, he's an unstoppable beast. And like, if it was just from being an unstoppable, unkillable beast, he would be on this list, regardless of his personality. Even if he's like the most vilest of bad guys, just by him being like the great unit that he is, he would deserve to be on a spot. But no, his personality accentuates that. And heck, if his personality alone was on this list, he would be on this list. He would be on this just for his personality. But like, yeah, he's like the best friend, Eliwood, a tough guy, and nowhere in his personality just showed he's a softie. But yeah, he's like the unstoppable, unkillable monster. That's all I'm gonna say about him. He's an unstoppable, unkillable monster with a personality of like the best friend kind of type. So yeah, and it doesn't help that he's a lord using an axe, which doesn't happen anytime else. Because if you think about it, that's why people call them sword lords. Well, most lords carry swords. Ephraim carries lances, and that's kind of the one exception. Corrin's a lord, and he turns into a dragon, or he or she could turn into a dragon. But his or her main weapon is a sword. But Hector, he's an axe user. Dude, I'm surprised, like, at no point during all the Smash Bros. Was Hector considered to be playable. Because, like, if you imagine, like, if Hector was a playable character in a Smash Bros. Game, he would easily break the stereotype of sword lords in Fire Emblem reps and Smash. Because if you think about it, every single character if I remember right, every single character in Smash 4 can use swords to some extent. Even Robin, who's mainly a mage, but does use a sword in some of his moves. I mean, you got Marth, Ike, and Roy, all three use swords. Corrin uses a sword, although he has like dragon parts. Robin does use a sword, but mostly matching either Lucina, who need no explanation. But Hector, like, he can just like throw axes, or he can just like swing himself from side to side. Sorry, Mario jokes. But, he could be a nice heavy character to go with some of the other heavy characters in the game. I'm surprised Hector ended up being overpowered if he was in Smash. And maybe that's why he's not in Smash, because if he was in, just his very presence will make him overpowered. And kind of hilarious in Fire Emblem Heroes, same thing. Like, he's like one of the most overpowered characters in the entire game. He's still like S+ tier, despite other units generally being better. Then again, he could beat the one unit that I could essentially beat everyone else, so. But yeah, he's an unstoppable, unkillable beast with a personality in a match. So, awesome. Never wondering why he's number 3. Good question. Like, he would be number 1 on most people's lists for how amazing he is. And, however, I just like the next 2. One, because I like his personality more than Hector, and the number 1, I like the gameplay, the unit itself. I find it better than Hector. So, let's start with number 2. Number 2 is Sane. Now, insane as Sane is, like his my initial reaction to him on Lin mode, immediate saying, you know what, this dude's hilarious and I love him, I want to use him. No questions asked, done. Like, I don't care what else. I don't know how many other Cavaliers in the game. How many are there, like 4, 5 of the Cavaliers? Whatever. This dude, he's in because he's hilarious. There you go. I'm gonna say that he's like take variant but better in personality, but make it into the archetype of this guy, because of course, and so already being the Green Cavalier, already puts him on the list. Because if he's on the list, I don't know if he's on the list, but whatever, and what is Stall's on the list? Kaze's not on the Fates list because he's not Cavalier, but He's like hilarious, so I made him most hilarious. He's a hilarious character in the game, and I don't know, just find him pretty charming. I just find Sane pretty charming. Try to be sane to be sane. That's who he is. Next, number 1. So for those of you who know what this character can do, you already know why it's number 1. No questions asked. Okay? So, this guy character is Canis. I think that's how you pronounce it, Canis. And he is the Shaman, or for those who know Modern Fire Emblem like I do, he's a Dark Mage. He's the only Dark Mage in the game. Also from Athos, but who cares? He's the last character in the game. But, he's the only Dark Mage in the game, right? And there's specific dark magic that, again, only he can use for most of the game that is redonkulously overpowered. And it's a Lunatone. So, you know how the Luna skill, right? And how that works? How, like, you cut off, like, immediate cut off, like, defensive resistance just by using it? Now, imagine that, but a tome. But also said tome has high crit chance. So let's like bring it down to you guys, okay? So he's the only character in the game that can use a tome in which has a high crit chance and immediately lower and like doesn't take into account resistance. Who cares about power? This thing has like no power. That tome itself doesn't even have power, but like that itself makes it the most overpowered tome in the game. I didn't know about it until Les told me about it. I knew about the tome itself. I didn't know that was overpowered. So, holy crud. So, by unit alone, this dude has the most overpowered thing in the game. Do you know that the final boss is a dragon, and the only way to really beat him like reliably is to use that specific tome. Maybe not him, but on Athos, because Athos is overpowered as is. But, jeez. And not for his personality. He's like the studious bookworm kind of guy. And there you go. I mean, you can tell by the glasses, or the monocle he has. So he has a monocle, and he's a Dark Mage. You probably won't expect, like, you know, normal Dark Mages are either kind of brooding, like Tharager, or kind of, you know, hyperactive like Henry or like Odin. No, but this dude is kind of chill. Honestly, like finding this dude kind of chill. He just wants to, you know stuff. He's like in his quest for knowledge, which kind of makes sound like he wants to be BFFs with Pent, which I mentioned earlier is a
pure, unadulterated badass.
This dude, you know, likes to talk, you know, I mean, like talk to each other as much as they can, and you know, make Pent surprised that he's the son of that crazy old lady from Binding Blade. Apparently she's cool or something, I don't know. But I just find them as personality pretty solid. It's kind of like Twilight Sparkle, but not as crazy. But with the unit of Twilight Sparkle. He had purple hair to boot. Maybe, is that why, like I saw, he's Twilight Sparkle, the Fire Emblem character? Okay, I'm done. That is all for TOS 127. See you later for 128. Hopefully I do a specific thing I wanted to do next. Pikmin 3 enemies. Maybe something else. I don't know. Bye.